Vixie. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope it only gets better. Welcome to Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty, on my channel. Weird, right? I'm actually a decent big fan of Call of Duty. I've been playing since World at War. I think I played Modern Warfare, the OG, like COD 4 way back in the day, but I spent the most amount of time first with World at War. I skipped a couple games, like Vanguard and Infinite Warfare, most notably. I played a little bit of Advanced Warfare, played a little bit of Black Ops 4, didn't like either, but we're back with Modern Warfare 3. I've been playing this quite a lot, as you can probably tell, and I thought it would be fun to hop in and give the various guns in this game a numerical rating from 1 to 10, because I'd like to think I probably have a pretty interesting relationship with the guns in COD, especially now with the gunsmith and everything, where I do not perceive the weapons in the same way that the COD community at large does. Because typically they just want to use like the best guns with like the best attachments and optimal builds and whatnot. Whereas I am playing modern era Call of Duty from the perspective of a firearms enthusiast. I love guns and I love firearms history. Firearms manufacturing is fascinating to me. So I use purely what I think is cool from a historical / mechanical standpoint. As you can tell from my main gun here being an M16, I think I have this set up as the A4 right now with the underslung 203. That's my main. Out of everything in this game, M16A4 underslung 203. I'm not even using that for like, oh, XD noob tube. I just like, I love it when there's an M16 with a 203 on it. It makes me happy. Anyway, I'm going to try and keep this concise because there's a lot of guns to go through, and there's a couple that are from Modern Warfare 2 that I would also like to talk about. So I think we'll get into this. Just know that if you're a COD fan, I'm not talking about meta. I'm not talking about how good it is in game. I might bring it up, but I'm largely just coming from a personal interest standpoint. So this should be pretty interesting. I wanted to interject with a quick little shout out to the comment of the week. The theme last week or this week, and I'm not sure how to describe that, was what was your first Prime Warframe? And I picked out this comment from Mikhail3336, where they say, my first Prime Warframe was Volt. It was given to me by a friend. He is still my most used frame, and I love zooming around with him, and that is entirely fair. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a theme for the next comment of the week, but if you would like a chance to show up as a comment of the week in my videos, just go ahead and leave a comment down below. It can be funny, it can just be something you want to say, it could be literally unrelated to literally anything, and you just felt like saying something. But so long as you leave a comment, I'll read it, and you might show up as the next comment of the week. Starting off strong, we have the BP-50, which is undoubtedly the FN-2000 in real life. This is a very, very funky gun, and it looks so strange, and I'm pretty sure it was manufactured in the era where just everything into bullpup, and then we got weird ass things like the FN F2000. I don't know too much about it, but purely because it's FN, I would imagine it's probably really well made. It's probably got mostly polymer furniture, and it generally is okay. Just going off of purely it's an FN thing. It's good. I don't like it in game. It's not the greatest in game, but it's fun to bip around with every so often. I would give this like a 5.5 out of 10. Coming up next, we have the SVA-545, which I know as the AN-94. It's weird. It is based off of the AN-94, and I know that because it has the AN-94 special thing of the super burst feature. In game is your first 2 shots are just really fast, but in real life, the super burst feature basically you set the gun to full auto, and the gun fires 2 shots before the recoil impulse hits the shooter. So you get, in theory, you get 2 shots on target for every, like, quote-unquote pull of the trigger. Really, the AN-94 is mechanically fascinating. It's also hilarious to watch in action. But the one in-game, it looks like it wants to be an AN-94 at the same time of wanting to be an AK-15, or I guess in this case it would be an AK-12 because it's in 545x39. You can make it look a lot more like the typical AN-94, but it still looks just a little bit too much like an AK-12 for my liking. I'm really annoyed that they didn't do the weird funky rear sight that the AN-94 has IRL. But in general, this thing rips, and I love the AN-94. So I would give this like an 8 out of 10. I love it. Coming up next, we have the Ram 7, aka I believe the MTAR-21. It's definitely a Tab War. I know that, so I'll probably just call it a Tab War. I'm not crazy about Tab Wars. I never have been. Out of all of the bullpups in existence, which there are many, Tab Wars never really had my interest. It just kind of looks by the books and boring in general. And in game, I see a lot of people using the Ram 7. It's probably good. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. I'll give it a 3 out of 10 just because it's getting extra bonus points because I do like bullpups, but this one's super weird. Next, we have the MTZ-556, which I believe is the CZ Bren 805. I have basically no experience or knowledge in like modern Czech firearms. The most notable one that I actually know literally anything about is the CZ Scorpion Evo, and even then I don't know basically anything. All of my Czech firearms knowledge is back in like the Cold War, so I can't really speak from any experience with researching this at all. I don't know the specifics. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it's long stroke gas operation, purely because of the gas block up here looking very similar to that of an AK, and it's Czech, which is close to Russia, and AKs are Russian. That's my biggest bet. That's my most notable thing I can say about this. So I don't really know anything about the CZ Bren, like, at all. Because I know nothing about it, I have no interest in using it in-game. So I would say, purely for fairness standpoint, this is a 5. I feel nothing about it. The Holger 556. Ah, yes, the G36. When it comes to HK rifles, I don't really pay attention to the G36 at all. I do like that like proprietary like integrated rail system with the reflex in it. That looks super cool. Typically that rail system is put on specifically the SL8, which is the semi-automatic version that HK gave America because we aren't German enough to use their guns, I guess. But it's an HK gun, so generally it's good. The G36 is, however, going to get docked a couple points because it has a very, not FN, but just like a FAMAS style kick to it, where the top rail here is over the charging handle and you reach in and you pull the charging handle back that way. That's how you charge it, and you don't have the trademark HK slap where the charging handle's up here and then you rack it back, lock it up, load it, and then slap it back down. It doesn't have that, so this gets negative points. So I would say generally good, not the most interesting G3. Oh, wow, Freudian slip, huh? Not the most interesting HK rifle, in my opinion, so we'll give it a 6. Hey, we've got some dead air, so it's time for a short message. I'd like to offer a huge thanks to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. If you'd like to support me and get your name here and on the end slate, you can support me on Patreon for just $5 a month, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks, such as work in progress art, whether it be for thumbnails or just something I happen to be working on, full resolution art, and the access to the raw file so you can poke around my layers and do stuff like turn off the watermark if you want to use it as your phone background or something. And most importantly, you'll get access to videos the moment they're ready, instead of having to wait for Sunday like everyone else. If any of this strikes your fancy, make sure to head to the link in the description and check out my Patreon. Once again, a huge thank you to all of my current patrons, and now let's get back to the video.
I'm so sorry.
You hit me directly.
What was
More.
What does this make people weird out?
The MCW, the Bushmaster ACR. I am a big fan of the ACR. Ever since like OG Modern Warfare 3, where I first met, so to speak, the Bushmaster ACR, I love it. It's so cool. I will admit I haven't really looked into the mechanics of it, but generally it seems like it's very similar in operation to the FN Scar, which most people will know. But I generally don't really have anything much else to say about the ACR other than I think it's really cool and I like it. And the MCW is like the meta gun in Modern Warfare 3, so it is good. Yeah, this is good. I like it a whole lot. 9 out of 10. The DG56, which is the Chinese QBZ-97? Type 97? I don't know. I have no experience with Chinese firearms. They're super weird and different. And they use a proprietary like 5.8 by something or other card. Hold on, I think it actually has it in game. Let me equip it real quick. 5.56. This isn't 5.56. It's supposed to be in 5.8. Let me go to the firing range real quick. No, it says 5.56. That's not correct. I could have sworn it was actually in 5.8 in this game. Well, either way, weirdly enough, in game, I like using the DG56 more than the FAMAS. So it hurts me because I don't know anything about this gun, but I do like it quite a bit in game. So we're gonna give this a 7 out of 10. It's pretty cool. The FR556, aka the FAMAS F1. The F1 is actually my like personal preferred configuration of the FAMAS. The Felon and the F2 are cool and everything, but the F1 to me is the FAMAS. Like, it's so iconic, it's so cool. God, I love it so much. And I love that from the get-go, this is a really good depiction of a FAMAS in-game. Usually there's some minor details that, you know, video games get wrong about the FAMAS, but they did a really good job with this one in particular. They have the bipod, it actually exists. They have the really weird barrel that, if memory serves, was made to be able to launch rifle grenades because the French are just fucking got back in the fucking trenches, I guess. And the magazine is not just an AR mag that they took off one of their other guns they already made. It is actually the straight up and down mag that the FAMAS actually comes with, or is made for the FAMAS. It's a better way to put that. But we're going to go into the gunsmith real quick, because there are a few notable things that I do want to bring up. I know I said I was going to keep it short, but this won't take very long. In the underbarrel category, you can actually use the bipod on the FAMAS, which is awesome. The thing that annoys me just a little bit is that we actually have to go into the firing range for this. When you inspect the gun, the cartridges are brass. Get into that in a second. The FAMAS is designed to fire steel-cased ammunition, if memory serves. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that running brass in a FAMAS is not the best idea because the FAMAS tends to destroy brass casings. It is meant to shoot steel. But there is something I do really like about the inspect animation for the FAMAS specifically. When you pull it out, tap, tap, you give the magazine 2 good taps to make sure that the rounds are properly seated. That is actually something that the manual of arms for the FAMAS tells you to do. When you load up a magazine, make sure to give the magazine 2 good taps to ensure that all of the rounds are properly seated. And they put that into the inspect animation, and I love that. I'm not the biggest fan of using the FAMAS in-game, but they put a lot of intricate detail into this that most games get wrong. It's a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. I love it. Moving on to battle rifles, we have the SOA Subverter, which I believe is the Beretta ARX 200. I believe that's what this is based off of, but I cannot verify because I have so little information about Beretta anything that is not their pistols. So I would say generally this thing's ugly. I don't like it. In-game, I don't like using it. It's ugly to look at. I'm not a big fan. This is going to be a 3 from me. The Bass B, an interesting one. This is the SIG MCX Spear. This is the new, like, standard issue firearm for the US military, and I have mixed feelings about it. I would say I'm not generally a big fan of SIG's rifles, and this one was not an exception when it was first going around as the XM5. It copied the homework of the SCAR and the M4 and made some weird amalgamation of the two, and they decided to keep the forward assist for no reason. Never fucking use it. But in-game, this thing fucks. I love the Bass B. I'm not a big fan of the SIG MCX Spear, but I'm a huge fan of the Bass B. That's the best way to put it. So purely because of the disparity between the two, I would say probably a 6.5 out of 10. And now we have the Sidewinder, which I believe is the ACR, or the Bushmaster ACR, but this time chambered in 450 Bushmaster, which it's a cool round. I don't know much about 450 Bushmaster and like how good it is. That's cool. I like battle rifles, and this is a battle rifle ACR, so I'm okay with it. I would say like 7 out of 10. Cool. The MTZ-762, which I believe is the CZ Bren 2. Yeah, we're back to another CZ rifle I don't know anything about. It's probably in 308. It's 762 by 51 NATO. It's 308. Yeah, it's the CZ Bren again, and I still have nothing to say about it, so like 5 out of 10. Starting off SMGs with the newest SMG as of me recording this, the FJX Horus, aka the B&T MP9 or the Steyr TP9. This thing's cool. I like it. I've always liked the MP9. Just a funky little, mostly like polymer framed PDW. And apparently, at least currently with how things are in game, this thing absolutely fucks. So I'm looking forward to when I actually can use it. Yeah, good. I like it. I'm gonna give that an 8 out of 10. The Ram 9, another Tab War with the C-Tar. Yeah, no, it's still Tab War, but now it's a weird 9mm carbine. Yeah, I still don't like it. I also am not the biggest fan of 9mm carbines. The only exception, I believe, is the is the ROG 633, the carbine made for the Department of Energy. It's got a weird name and I can never remember it, but that's like the only 9mm carbine I actually like, and this one is a 9mm carbine of a gun I didn't like in the first place, so this is gonna be like a 2. I really don't like this. Speaking of 9mm carbines, we have the AMR9, which I believe is literally just some random AR-15 platform 9mm carbine. I wish I had the ability to turn this into the carbine, like the Department of Energy carbine I mentioned beforehand, but no, you always have this weird fore-end assembly. I'm not sure what that is. It's just a solid eh. It's got the M16A2 pistol grip, which is weird. Generally not my thing. Fun to use, though. I do have a lot of fun using it, so I think I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. The Rival 9, the CZ Scorpion Evo 3, I believe it's this one? Or at least it's trying to be. I did mention that I have no experience with CZ's rifles, or just any modern CZ firearm, but this is named the same way as like the old Scorpion, even though it's mechanically much different and not meant to be as a machine pistol for tankers. But I still don't know a whole lot about it. I've never really looked into many of CZ's firearms. But it's iconic, it's cool, and in-game, it's really, really good. Hey, it's got an ambidextrous fire selector. I didn't know that. I think this thing is actually almost entirely ambidextrous. The only thing about it that isn't ambidextrous is the charging handle's only on one side, which I think you can take off and put on the other side. I think it's transferably ambidextrous charging handle, but then the ejection port's on this side, which if you are left-handed and you wanted to shoot this left-handed, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's not like you're shooting a bullpup left-handed. So largely ambidextrous. I like ambidextrous firearms. Look at the P90. Yeah, it's generally cool. I like the Scorpion Evo. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. The Harm 9, the Beretta PMX. I didn't even know this thing existed before this video game, so I have literally no experience with it beforehand. It's kind of goofy looking. I'm noticing a theme with Beretta's firearms outside of their pistols, which is to say, the rest of them are goofy. Well, and their shotguns. Their shotguns are normal. But, yeah, it's goofy. I don't like it. Why is it bulbous? It's a lot of fun to use, but why is it bulbous? The thing that would make me like this a lot more, specifically in-game, is if we were able to put an over-barrel suppressor on it, or give it just like a straight-up integral suppressor. That would make this a lot better. Can you? Right, yeah, that was my problem with it. You can get an integrally suppressed barrel, but it's way longer. I want same length barrel, but integral suppressor. That's what I want. Generally, fun to use, ugly, weird. I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. No, we'll give it a 5. The Striker 9, which I'm actually not sure what specifically it is, because the Striker is an H&K UMP 45. So with this being the Striker 9, you would think this is a UMP 9, but it doesn't quite look like an MP9, or the UMP 9. It doesn't quite look like one. It just looks a little bit off, and it's always bothered me. It absolutely rips. This thing kicks ass, but it's weird, and it not quite being the way I want it to be makes me not want to use it, so I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 10. The Striker, however, UMP 45, as the UMP 45 will always do, this thing fucks. It's so good. It's also HK, and it's got that classic HK charging handle, which you can slap. Very good. H&K UMP 45 will be eternally cool. It's so cool. It didn't manage to replace the MP5 like H&K wanted it to, but I mean, it's still an H&K SMG PDW, so it's still good. 9 out of 10. This thing fucks. The Wasp 9, aka an approximation of the IMI Uzi. Yeah, it works perfectly fine for what an Uzi needs to be. It's got the top charging handle with the weird cutout so you can actually see it through the sights. It's got the weird grip safety. The fire selector, oh yeah, it dimples out a little bit. And I do really like that it is using the Uzi's stock, which, hold on, I'm curious, I never checked, because there was one specific thing that I wanted to do with, no, I don't want the 40K thing. I wanted to check. Stock, no stock. Okay. So there's a negative. When you put no stock on, it doesn't just fold the stock, which is dumb. It just takes it off, which I guess reduces weight, but you could just, if you would have folded it, would have been a lot cooler. I wanted to use the classic wood stock, with the Uzi, because I find it's so fucking funny. I love it. And it gives it more of a very, very distinct silhouette. So I wanted to use the woodstock, but in general, an Uzi is an Uzi is an Uzi. I like it. I like it a whole lot. And this was actually the first gun I got gold in this game. And just for funsies, here's a clip I got of me getting a 6-man feed with it in hardcore while listening to Merc music. So just ignore him.
I know you got it.
Six piece! Let's fucking go! I like the Uzi. It's cool. First gold weapon means a lot to me. I'm gonna give this a 10. The Wasp Swarm, the Uzi Pro. Yeah, modern Uzis, man. I don't know anything about them. All I know about the Uzi Pro is they move the charging handle to the left so you can actually mount optics on it, and that's about it. In game, I don't care. I would say this is generally like a 4, maybe a 3. Moving on to shotguns with the Lockwood 680, aka the Remington 870. Yeah, they had the Mossberg 500 in Modern Warfare 2, so they're like, what if we added the gun again? And that means we get the Remington 870. I don't really have an opinion of the two, like which one I like more. The Remington 870 and the Mossberg 500 are basically the exact same gun. It just comes down to personal preference, like which one you want to use more. But if I were to pick one of the two, I would probably go with the Mossberg 500, purely because of the funky configuration of the 590, specifically of the Mossberg 590 Shockwave. I like that a whole lot. I love tiny shotguns. It's a Remington 870. It does exactly what it needs to. In game, this thing fucks. It's super good. We're gonna give it an 8 out of 10. The Haymaker, the Origin 12. Oh god, fuck this thing. At no point have I ever liked the Origin 12. It's so ugly and boxy and huge, it's a shotgun, which means it mostly needs to be huge to handle the pressure, but like, god, the Origin 12 is ugly. And you know, it's the auto shotty of the game, so it's fucking buttfuck overpowered. Yeah, no, this is gonna be a 2 from me. The Riveter, I actually don't remember what this thing is in real life. Let's see what I have it saved as. The ATI Omni 410, never even heard of it. That's the Haymaker. I definitely had to look up what this was based off of, because it just looked like generic AR shotgun to me. I hate this thing. I hate it so much. It's in 410, which is stupid. You're not going to kill anyone with 410. At least anyone with armor, you're not going to kill with 410. That's not happening. It's one of the situations in game where it is stupidly strong in hardcore, but I couldn't stand using it for whatever reason. I had the same issue with the KV Broadside in the last game. It was overpowered for everyone else, but I fucking sucked with it. I could barely get kills with it, no matter what build I put on. I put on the meta build at one point, and I still wasn't killing people with it. I hate it. 1 out of 10. Fuck this thing. The TAC Evolveur. This name's so fucking stupid. This is based off of the FN Evolus, which is a MG that I didn't know existed until, you know, I had to look up what the fuck the TAC Evolveur is based off of. But the way I see it is, we have Hammer at home, where the FN Hammer is a SCAR configured to be a slightly funkier squad automatic weapon. The TAC Evolveur is the Hammer without any of the identity, so I'm not a big fan of it. Also, whoa, look at that. Oh yeah, I guess because it is functionally a proper, like, MG now, instead of just a SCAR but different, because it's got a feed tray cover that you have to lift up, and a side charging handle. It's open bolt. Yeah, they took a SCAR and they made it a proper MG instead of just making, you know, a SCAR work funky in the case of the Hammer. I don't like using it. It's fat, not my go-to choice for MGs, so I'm gonna give this like a 3 or a 4 out of 10. We'll give it a 4 for the benefit of the doubt. The Bruin MK9, the classic M249 saw. Yeah, I like it. I really do like it. The 249 I have always appreciated. If I have the chance to use it in a game, I will very likely take it, just because I love playing a gunner. I love suppressing fire, and I love that, you know, you can actually use an MG like that in this game. And people will very often just run into your suppressive fire because they don't understand what the point of suppressive fire actually is. And then that becomes what I like to call aggressive fire. But yeah, it's a 249. It's good. I love it. You can configure it to be the FN Mini-Me if you wanted, which I did. Good. I love it. Very, 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 very good. Can't get enough of this thing. 10 out of 10. God, fucking, I haven't done Russian anything in so long. The Pulmeot 7.62. Good enough. We'll call it that. It's the PKP Peschenegg. I think it's the PKP. It might be the PKM. I don't know the difference. I haven't looked into the difference. But it's a Russian MG. This thing hits like a truck because it's shooting 7.62 by 54R. A lot of fun to use. You can convert it to the bullpup configuration, which is a real thing that existed. The base one, I'm gonna say classic, good. I like looking at it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And we're actually going to use the aftermarket kit real quick to look at the bullpup PKP. Oh, hello. That's not correct. Those links seem to be sticking out the side. Interesting. Yeah, that's a bullpup PKP. It's weird. I kind of like it because I like weird guns. But then again, no, I think I just like it. I'm gonna give this an 8. The DG58 LSW, which I'm gonna have to check my saved version of it to see what the fuck it's called. The QJB95-1. Yep, it's the Chinese MG. It is a gun that exists. I have nothing to say about it. It's kind of cool looking. Makes me think of the L85. That's about it. 6 out of 10. Attack Eradicator, the FN Hammer. Yeah, this thing's super cool. I wish in-game the sped up, like the first few sped up rounds when you initially pull the trigger, I wish the cooldown on those sped up rounds was a little bit faster, but it might be too strong if they did do that, so I understand why there's such a long cooldown before you can get the sped up rounds again, but it's a hammer. A hammer's a hammer is a hammer. I love it. 7 out of 10. The Holger 26, which I believe is just the MG36. It's G36 but with M in the front. Yeah, it's G36 MG configuration. I don't really care. 5 out of 10. The KVD Enforcer. This would be the Russian SVK, which is like the modern replacement for the SVD, the Dragunov. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it IRL because it's an SVD without any personality. In game, this thing's fucking dog shit. I hate it. This is gonna be another one from me. MCW 6.8, aka the Bushmaster ACR chambered in 6.8 Wrath. I believe it's Wrath. Yeah, it's another ACR. I have less experience with, like, you know, ballistics and stuff like that when it comes to researching ammunition types with 6.8 Wrath, but for some reason, I like it. I know nothing about it, but I think it's cool. So I guess just the name 6.8 Wrath is a really cool sounding name. So generally, I just think it's good. So yeah, 8 out of 10 ACR. The DM56, aka the H&K SL8. This is the semi-automatic G36 that H&K gave us because we weren't German enough. Don't like it. I don't like it. IRL, it's dumb. The SL8 sucks, and if you have G36 magazines or you buy G36 magazines to put into your SL8, you can't, because the SL8 uses different magazines despite the fact that it's just a semi-automatic G36 because H&K wanted to fuck with us, I guess. Don't like it. Didn't like it using it in game. IRL, the SL8 is stupid and sucks. 2 out of 10. The MTZ Interceptor. This would be the CZ Bren 2, but this time it's a DMR configuration instead of the battle rifle. Yeah, it's another CZ gun. Still don't care. 5. The XRK Stalker. I don't actually know what gun this is based off of. I remember looking it up, but every time I use this, I can only see it as the ballista from Black Ops 2. So anytime I think of like, oh no, it's the whatever gun it actually is, I just always go back to calling it the ballista, because that's what I know it as. I didn't like Black Ops 2, controversial opinion I know, but I loved sniping and quickscoping with the ballista. That was the funnest shit in the world. And this is no different. It's the ballista again. I love it. 10 out of 10. The Moors. This isn't a real gun, believe it or not. This is a gun from Advanced Warfare. It is a man-portable railgun, which, while railguns do exist, man-portable railguns do not exist. And that is what the Moors is. This is purely Advanced Warfare sciencey nonsense. And I haven't used it yet. I have it, but I haven't used it, and I'm looking forward to using it. But I think purely because I have no mileage on this gun yet, we have to give it a 5. But I'm going to give it a 6 because I think it's really funny to see people complain about an Advanced Warfare gun being in a Modern Warfare game. I think that's really funny. I'm actually going to hop into the firing range real quick with the Moors just to see how it feels. Because I literally haven't touched it yet. I got it and then I got off. So let's see. One shot. One shot. One shot. Yeah. The reload speed's Pretty nice. I'm not sure if it's just because I'm running mag holster, but so what is up with the game? I'm on high settings. Why is it? Yeah, no, I'm super looking forward to quickscoping with this. What is up with the game? Okay, we'll get out of the firing range before my game explodes, I guess. The Cat AMR, which I believe is the Steyr HS50. This is a gun I straight up didn't know existed. It's super goofy, and I really like that. I like the side-loaded magazine. I like that it's bolt action. I do wish we got a different proper 50 anti-material rifle, like in specifically Modern Warfare 3. I know in previous games, with its recent appearances, the M82 has been absolutely trash, but I really just want a Barrett. There is a Barrett in game, but it's the bolt action one that I can never remember, because anytime you think Barrett 50 cal, you think of the M82. This being the way that it is just reminds me that the M82 is not in game, and it makes me sad. But Cat AMR is a lot of fun to use. It's an easy one shot. It's very goofy to quickscope with it. You can make it decently fast for an anti-material rifle, but generally, I would say it's okay. 6 out of 10. The longbow. Ooh, okay, so this is not actually based, well, it's based off of a real gun, but this is not a real gun that was ever made, because this is an AK-105, I believe. And the thing about an AK-105, and every AK that came before that, is it is a long stroke gas operation, aka it is automatic, either semi or full, depending on how fun you are. However, for whatever peculiar reason, the longbow in Modern Warfare 3, despite being an AK-105 and should be gas operated, is bolt action. They removed the gas system entirely. There's just nothing there. And they made it bolt action, which has happened before with an AK. Once, someone made a bolt action AK and called it the K11. So I've been calling this the K105. That is the name I've just been calling it, because this isn't a real thing. And I want to hate it. I hate it so much. It's so stupid, but oh my fucking god, this thing is the funnest thing in the universe to use. This thing is so much fun to quickscope with, and it's accented by the fact that you use it like you would use a Lee Enfield somehow. I can't say for sure because of the animation being weird, but hold on, let me go to the firing range real quick. Yeah, I don't think so. So you can shoot it super quick, and for the longest time I thought it was because you are using this like you'd use a Lee Enfield, where your middle finger pulls the trigger and like the top part of your hand, your thumb and your index finger, is already holding the bolt, so you can shoot and immediately rack another round. That's pretty much how you use it in game. It's fast, it's snappy, it's amazingly fun to quickscope with. I want to hate it. 8 out of 10. The KV inhibitor. This is, once again, the SV, but this is the SVCH sniper one. Don't like it. It's just, again, it's just the SVD without any of the personality. It's stupid. 1 out of 10. Pistol time. Starting off with the Core 45, aka the Glock 21. Almost. I did notice a couple things wrong immediately, because I don't like Glocks per se, but I respect them as good weapons because they are good. I just don't personally like them. The Glock 21 here is weird. They have a lot of slide serrations, which there should not be this many on a Glock 21, and the trigger guard is weirdly angled when it should just kind of be a square. But generally, it's okay. It as a pistol in-game is perfectly fine, and it has the conversion kit of the like the aftermarket part, where it slaps on the Micro Roni kit for a Glock, which just turns it into a little PDW. And this is a lot of fucking fun because it gives it a binary trigger, so it fires when you pull the trigger and it fires again when you release the trigger, so you can just absolutely just spray down range with this thing. It's a lot of fun, but generally this thing's perfectly fine. It's a Glock 21 that looks weird though, so we're gonna keep it a flat 5 out of 10. Speaking of weird, this is the Renetti, and the Renetti doesn't know what it wants to be. From outward appearances, this is a Beretta 92. From mechanics, however, this is a Beretta 93R, which are two different guns, and I don't know why they went with the outward visuals of a Beretta 92 if they wanted to make a 93R with how it operates, because it's burst fire. And also, I hate this thing. It sucks. It's so, I hate it so much. I haven't used the conversion kit that makes it full auto because just I don't want to. If I want to use a Beretta, I want it to look like a Beretta. I just wish we had a Beretta 92. I want a semi-automatic Beretta sidearm, and we didn't get that, and it makes me angry, and I don't like the Renetti. 2 out of 10. The Tier, the RSH 12.7. This is a Russian 50 caliber hand cannon. It's super cool looking. from outward visuals, it reminds me a lot of Hawkmoon from Destiny, and I fucking love Hawkmoon. And you can convert it into a revolver rifle, which are super cool. I don't much care for using it in game because it's exclusively double action, and that pisses me off. Hate double action, but generally it's fun enough that I will use it occasionally, but it's not like my go-to secondary something. So we'll give this like a 6.5 out of 10. The Wasp Stinger. This is the micro Uzi, not to be confused with the Uzi Pro that we talked about earlier. Yeah, I still don't care. Also, this thing is totally dog shit. It's just kind of boring. I don't like the micro Uzi. I like the OG Uzi. I like the big one. Give it like a 2 out of 10. And now, before we continue, we have just a few honorable mentions that I also wanted to bring up. So we're looking at the M16 from Modern Warfare 2. They, as most of you would know, if you have played this game or the previous, ideally both, they brought over all of the guns from Modern Warfare 2, and they carried over to Modern Warfare 3. So I can still use the M16, which I used an ungodly amount in Modern Warfare 2. The reason I'm bringing this up, even though this is a rating Modern Warfare 3 weapons, is this is still my main gun. Love it so much. And the reason I love it so much is all of the things that you can do to make this different versions of the M16, which I love because I'm M16 fanatic and I love all the different configurations of it. And that extends somewhat to the M4 because the M4 is essentially a shorter version of the M16. God, it's so cool. I do want to equip the M16 real quick, and I want to bring up the exact reason why I love this so much. So, if we look at this the way it is now, with this being semi-burst exclusively, the configuration it is right now would most accurately be the M16A4, which is my personal favorite. So, from the get-go, we're already here. I love it. The M16A4 would more closely be like this. The fixed stock is usually an A2 or an A1 thing. So this is usually what you would see when you're looking at an M16A4. But because the gunsmith was the best addition in Call of Duty history, you can just as easily turn an M16A4 into an M16A2, which I love. And if you wanted to, you can almost make it an XM177. Almost, though. That stock is just a little bit too chunky, but that is a 2-position collapsible stock, which the XM177 did have, while the M16, or the XM177 is technically a modification of an M16. The M16 in-game is semi or burst only. You can't make it go full auto. However, the XM177 was essentially the beta version of the M4. So, aside from the iconic carry handle iron sights, you can take an M4 and make it a pretty close approximation of an XM177. It doesn't have the proper muzzle device that the XM177 had, but you can get pretty damn close, and I love that. And just as a final, the final cherry on top for the M16 and why it is my favorite gun across both games, is if you're to use a barrel something like the A2 Shroud here, and you put on the underslung M203 grenade launcher like this, it just attaches it to the pick rail, and that's it. But if you're to use the default barrel, which is this long, Knight's Armament, RAS Gen 5, I believe is that forend? If you're to use this forend, and then you put on the 203, it adds on the M16's special proprietary mounting system specifically for the 203. And I love this so fucking much. It's so cool. The attention. They have a pick rail on the bottom of this Knight's Armament forend. They very easily could have just put the 203 on the bottom, just like they did with the A2 Shroud, where they just stuck it to the pick rail. But they went that extra little distance, and they put on the proprietary system for the M16, and just, oh my god. The M16 is 10 out of 10 in this game. It's so good. It's perfect. It is utilizing the fact that the M16 and A4 are a very modular weapon system. I love it so much. The 10 out of 10, best gun. So yeah, that's the Modern Warfare 3 video. I do hope you enjoyed this short little aside. This was my backup video because the thing I was going to record didn't quite work out, but I'm still gonna try and do that at some point because it is fun. I just wasn't quite prepared for what I wanted to do. Going down the road, we'll come back to that, but for the time being, we have this short little video of just me talking about this game I've been playing for a little bit. This is especially interesting because this is like the first time on this channel where I'm able to just kind of bring up my my manic obsession with guns and firearms technology, even though I didn't quite share as much like technical information as I would have in any other day, because I second-guessed myself on some facts, and I haven't done quite as much firearms research as I have in the past, so I can't really be too confident in what I say, but I'm pretty sure I got most of the facts right. So I would just like to thank you all for sitting in and letting me autistically ramble about firearms for a little bit. And for those of you I have bumped into while playing COD, I would like to apologize for noob tubing so much with my M16. Just know I'm not doing it because the noob tube is easy. I'm doing it because I'm an M16 enthusiast and the 203 makes me happy. I'm not doing it to piss people off. It is just an unfortunate side effect that this thing is really goofy to use in hardcore. With all that being said, I'll go ahead and end this video here. I'm gonna have to set my settings back because I cannot play the game on the settings I am going to end this video here. If you genuinely enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already, and to hit the bell so it actually does something. A huge shout out to my current patrons, you are all very much appreciated. If you would like to support me in the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks, which I went over in the blurb earlier. My name's Vixie, and I will see y'all in the next one. God, look at these textures.